Just hipster.
That's
also
literally,
got him.
No.
that's literally
You got
why
them
we
because they
got
were
it.
cheap, right?
Yeah, they were like $20. Hey,
Bucks.
hey guys, welcome to CiB Roundtable Discussion, Square Couch Discussion with
Right now.
Trevor.
Trevor!
Josh.
And I'm Jordan.
Cool. And we're here to talk about... I'm Jordan. We're here to talk about our first subject, which is the good and the bad of current video gaming and stuff like that. So we have a lot of bad and some good. I swear we'll get to the good, but we're going to start with the bad on video games. Stuff that, for the current generation, just really annoy us and that we think should be, fixed. So does anyone want to start first with their biggest gripe that they have?
I'll start. This, if you can't see this is an online pass, and this is for Battlefield 3 from EA, who they're really awful. What does everyone think about online passes? Trevor, give me your feels on online passes.
They're pretty much one of the worst things to happen in modern gaming.
I honestly think that they are the worst thing to happen to modern gaming.
You own a video game store, so that would make sense.
Personally, from my standpoint, it's really, and they do this on purpose, it's way harder to sell used copies of games, no matter how low you put the price, just because of these dumb online passes. And it started with games that had a lot of online, and now it's getting to stuff that you're like, this game has online, and they have online passes.
They just throw online
Or
in there.
Diablo 3, for an example. You can't even play by yourself without being connected to the internet.
Some people don't want to play with other people. Sometimes single-player games is fun, actually. I have here UFC 2010. To my knowledge, I know THQ started this, and I hate THQ. THQ is the worst of all companies. Everyone hates EA, but Trevor and I agree, at least EA makes good games. What is this?
I guess
this is THQ's best video game.
Well, they did
Saints Row the Third.
I guess the reason
They
why
did make
people don't
Darksiders.
don't care about THQ is that even though they started online passes, they don't make any good games ever.
If anyone can tell me a good THQ game, please let
Darksiders.
Their
us know.
flagship is Darksiders and
Darksiders.
That's about
Saints
it.
Does that one
Row.
have an online pass?
No.
It
It's
didn't
a
have-
single
online.
player.
It literally had
Yes.
half. I thought they would just throw online in with it.
I'm sure there's
But anyway, I have this one because this is the very first game that I know that did it. They're really awful. Another thing about THQ, I don't know if you guys know this, most online passes for EA are $10. THQ's are $15. So it's like a big slap to the face. So there are some games like Madden where you're like, not everyone plays online. Like if I get Madden, I don't play online. But there's games like Josh at Battlefield. Who wants to buy Battlefield if you can't go online? It's stupid. So we all agree online passes are the worst. If you can show me someone out there besides someone who works for EA or, that online passes are good, please let us know.
There's actually one company that I'm surprised doesn't use online passes yet. Activision. Yeah.
Activision, that's why I will always prefer Call of Duty to Battlefield, because it's so easy to sell. Hey, do you have Call of Duty, the new one? Yeah, it's used for $50. Cool, no online pass, done. It's so easy that even Activision could do it.
Yeah, well, they don't release games with DLC or after a period of time. EA
I guess that's another one we didn't
EA
think about.
EA will be smart enough to be like, we're going to bundle all 475 DLC packs for $60. Activision will be like, you need to buy all
At
this
least
DLC.
it's something, but I'm really sick of this buy DLC before the game's out. You can buy Call of Duty Elite before the game's out.
Season passes.
Now, the season pass. But
and that's
Right.
and that's a recent thing. That's half a year ago.
I've seen some
recent.
games, I understand for Battlefield and Call of Duty, but I've seen some games like Gears of War that's Gears of War Season Pass, and it just seems like most people are play Gears of War and then get tired of it.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's I spent $50 on the Season Pass, and now I thought I saw one for Assassin's Creed or
there's
something.
There's one. For
Yeah,
There's,
okay.
There's
and
definitely
There's one for
Borderlands.
Borderlands, too.
Borderlands 2.
There's
so
even
dumb.
for you were talking about UFC, the 2013 version. They already have a season pass for a wrestling game, and it's $20.
What?
Yeah, they do.
Well, what possible
literally-
DLC could there be for a wrestling game?
More rings.
More wrestlers, more chairs.
I don't understand why at that point you just don't put all of them in the game at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, let's
I
talk.
mean, you can do
Unless
that.
the DLC includes Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage, and...
Which, if you want people to buy the game, put them in the dumb game. I honestly, online, that you guys are reminding me, I hate online for video games, because back in the day, if you bought, Tomb Raider Angel of Darkness for PS2, that game sucks. You bought it and it sucks, and there was no excuse for it. They screwed up. Now, if you put a game out like that, it'll be patched. Yeah, we'll just patch that. Just put out Skyrim, have this glitch for the PS3 where you literally cannot play the video game. We'll patch it, though. Like, come on. That just allows them to be lazy and stupid and everything.
Especially when you buy a game day one, and the first thing that happens when you put it in your PS3 or 360 is needs to download a patch.
It's so dumb. Someone go next.
I still have this. I'm a big fan of actually having manuals with my video games. If you purchase Resident Evil 6, you'll find that you didn't get a manual. Instead, you get an advertisement for really bad Resident Evil movies. So if you like really bad movies, this is all for you.
But it's essentially just saying, please buy more stuff.
Please buy more stuff.
We actually had a customer, he will go nameless, who came in the day after picking up RE6 and was like, "Hey Spencer, was there a manual with this?" And I was like, "I'm sorry, man. We literally don't have anything." It's just getting ridiculous. I do have this as an example. I don't know if you guys can see it, Rayman Origins, as an example of one of the good things for later. But a lot of Vita games, you open it up and you're greeted to this. Nothing.
0% of Vita games in the U.S. have instruction manuals.
0% of Vita
Even
games
though-
have all.
Notice
It's this
right
big.
there,
It
there's
takes,
a clip to hold
there's a clip.
manual.
Do you know why they had this clip in these? Because some Sony-made games have
Online passes.
That's
Or
the only
or pre-order
reason. It
bonuses.
takes 5. It has to take a cent, right? It has to take like a cent or two,
Yeah.
right, to make
And
that.
it's not even like worldwide. There's no manuals because we have a copy. The European version of like Army Corps from Hell and
Has a
that
manual.
has a manual. So
Like-
I guess just Sony doesn't like America.
Like, what is this? Like, even I have PS3 Resident Evil 6. This is what it has. This is what it has in it. At least it has this. It's built into the 360 one.
That is this on the 360 version. It is on the back of the cover art.
I'm a video game collector, and even if you're going to buy something brand new, you want to have it as the collection. So every time, for the rest of the time that you open up RE6, you're going to be like, huh, did I lose that instruction manual somewhere?
And I guess the main reason why we're so angry about this, specifically Capcom, I mean, Microsoft does it, even as soon as like Gears of War 3 over a year ago. But like Capcom used to make like multiple like 10, 20, 30 page color books, and then suddenly with RE6, like a game like Asura's Wrath came out like 6 months ago and it had a 40-page color book, and then RE6 comes out and they're just like, well, now we're worse than any other company. And it's just, yeah.
Is there something else that Capcom did this generation that everyone absolutely despises out there?
Who likes DLC? Anybody?
Who likes DLC that's actually just still on the disc?
What do you mean by that, Trevor?
It means that Capcom sells you a disc, and when you buy the game, you're not allowed to play what's on the disc. And months down the line, when they allow you to play that stuff on the disc, you have to pay money to do that. Number one example that people were furious about was Street Fighter Cross Tekken. And that was a $60 game. It wasn't a $40 or $50 game. And people found out that they were withholding like 12 DLC characters. And Capcom was originally thinking of selling each individual character for $5 each. Or in a pack of both all the characters for like $30, $40. And after people were super angry with it, like they eventually just released it just for a discounted price of $20. But that's not it. That's not just the characters that are on the disc. They also have costume packs that, there were two versions of it, which were, since it's Street Fighter Cross Tekken, there were like Tekken costumes for the Street Fighter characters and Tekken costumes for this, Street Fighter costumes for the Tekken characters. And each pack cost $13. So you get 13 times 2, which is 26. And then you get the $20 DLC, which is $20 there. That's $46 to play that everything on the disc. If you bought it day one, it's $106.
106
Trevor,
US dollars.
Remind me what DLC stands for.
DLC means downloaded
Content.
AKA stuff that's
Yeah.
not on the freaking disc.
Not
Like,
disc locked.
I honestly love Capcom. Like, I love their games, but like that is so dumb. Can we all agree that like when DLC first came around, it's not an awful thing. You release Skyrim and then 6 months later you're like, here's a huge other thing. They did that, like, look for Elder Scrolls Oblivion, when that came out, they had Oblivion, and then they released on disc for like $20 or something like that, Shivering Isles, and then they eventually released the Game of the Year, and no one complained. But it's the stuff where it's like, day one DLC, here's the real ending on DLC. Like, I heard that Sniper Elite version 2, someone told me that the ending, and this sounds awesome, is you shoot Hitler. So, like, who doesn't want to do that in a sniper game? Guess what it is? It's DLC. So it's like, have, like, just please, game companies, just listen.
And also another thing about Capcom is that when they actually release DLC, like something like Asura's Wrath, that the ending, like the canon ending, is DLC. And there's 3 different packs for that, or 2, I forget. But something like that is the ending is literally DLC. I mean, that's not okay.
Games are expensive to make. Anyone who complains about game prices, games are $60 nowadays, but back in the day for PS1 games, they were $50. For N64, they were $60. Super Nintendo, they were $50. And adjusted, it cost more back then to buy games than it does now. And there are more people that work on each game than now. But you're gonna make your money. Don't do this DLC crap. Yeah. Like, you can do DLC the right way. Just add episodes that, didn't we get the DLC for... Dead Space 2, correct? Or Dead Space 1?
That was actually one.
And it was actually pretty cool. It was
EA thing that they actually did.
It was like, 3 or 4 hours of gameplay or something like that, and it was totally different. That's cool DLC. What, like $10-15?
Actually, EA with their DLC isn't too bad. They actually add stuff to their games, even if you look at like Battlefield 3, like each pack is $15, but you get a couple gigs worth if you're on the PC version like I am. It's like 5, 8, 10 gigs per pack. So you really do get the $15 worth.
DLC can be done right. Online passes can never be done right. Online passes is freaking PC BS.
Another good example
PC,
of DLC done right, I would say, is Borderlands, because each one of those expansions adds about 10 hours to the game, but they're also completely non-essential to the story of the game. And you can play the game without it with friends, and it's not really a big deal. It's there if you want it. It's not there if you don't. Although they're also guilty of developing DLC and having it readily available right when the game comes out. Which is kind of like, if you're developing it, why don't you just include it with the game? Why are you charging me more?
A really good point to what Jordan just said was Assassin's Creed 3, which just came out, day one, there was $60 worth of DLC for the game. So
come on!
If you really love Assassin's Creed, you can spend as much as you paid for the game and get probably like 5 hours worth of content.
Wait, the 120...
So you get double the game.
You get double the game.
What about the premium edition, that $120 one?
Yeah, does that come with the DLC?
Do you get the DLC with that?
I sure hope so.
Or is it,
I don't know.
Or is it 120 plus?
Because I know
60?
one was actually 360 exclusive and one was Sony exclusive, so maybe.
So you have to buy both versions.
Maybe you have to buy both
So
versions
spend like
to get
$500.
You got to spend $500 to get